You might have heard whispers that a simple 1970 Washington quarter could turn an ordinary person into a millionaire overnight. Yes, rumors have been spreading across the internet, in Facebook groups, coin forums, and even TikTok videos, that one of these quarters might be worth not hundreds, not thousands, but millions of dollars. Imagine finding one in your pocket change, realizing it could pay off your house, buy a new car, or even change your entire life. Sounds unbelievable, right? But here's the thing. Many unbelievable stories start with a grain of truth. So, what's really going on with this mysterious coin? Could the 1970 Washington quarter actually be worth millions? Stay tuned till the end, because the truth behind these rumors is both fascinating and shocking. Let's start from the beginning, the history and design of this iconic coin. The Washington quarter has one of the most recognizable faces in all of American coinage. It was first minted in 1932, during the Great Depression, as a tribute to the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The U.S. Treasury wanted to honor the first president, and a design competition was held. The winner was John Flanagan, whose profile of George Washington became an instant classic. His design has remained the face of the quarter for decades, even through multiple redesigns and series. Now let's take a closer look at the design itself. On the obverse, or the front side of the coin, you'll see George Washington's left-facing portrait, bold and dignified. Above his head sits the word Liberty, a reminder of the ideals he stood for. Just to the left of his neck, in smaller letters, is the phrase, "In God We Trust." And at the bottom, you'll see the date, 1970, clean and simple, yet carrying the weight of history. To the right of Washington's ponytail, there might be a small mint mark, either a D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, or no mint mark at all, which means it was struck in Philadelphia. Flip it over, and the reverse of the coin showcases one of America's most powerful symbols, the bald eagle. With wings outstretched, the eagle clutches a bundle of arrows in its talons, symbolizing strength and readiness to defend the nation. Just below the arrows lies an olive branch, representing peace. Above the eagle's head is the Latin phrase, E pluribus unum, meaning, out of many, one. It's a reminder of how the United States came together as one nation. Encircling the design are the words, United States of America, at the top and quarter dollar at the bottom. Beautiful, isn't it? A perfect balance of strength and peace, a true reflection of America. Now, before we jump into the rumors, let's talk about what this coin is made of and why that matters. Many people assume that all old quarters are made of silver, but that's not true. The last silver quarters were made in 1964. Starting in 1965, the U.S. Mint switched to a copper-nickel-clad composition. That's a pure copper core sandwiched between layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel. So, while the 1970 quarter looks silver, it's actually not. This change was made to save money, as silver prices had risen sharply during the 1960s. In 1970, the U.S. Mint struck quarters at 3 locations. Philadelphia, no mint mark. Denver, marked D, and San Francisco, marked S, which mostly produced proof coins, special coins made for collectors, not for everyday circulation. Now, the real question, what makes some of these 1970 quarters valuable? Let's break it down by type and condition. A heavily circulated 1970 quarter, one that's been through vending machines and wallets for decades, is worth about 25 cents, its face value. But if the coin is in uncirculated condition, meaning it has never been used and still shines like the day it was minted, it could be worth more. Uncirculated examples typically sell for $3 to $10, depending on the mint. When you move up the ladder to higher grades, the value increases significantly. Coins graded MS65 or MS66, which means mint state with minimal imperfections, can bring anywhere from $50 to $200. And if you happen to find one in MS67 or higher, you're looking at a coin that could fetch over $1,000. Now let's talk about the proof coins, the ones made in San Francisco. Proof coins are not your average quarters. They're struck on specially prepared planchets using polished dies, giving them a mirror-like surface and frosted details that make them look almost three-dimensional. These coins were sold directly to collectors, not released into circulation. A standard 1970 S-proof quarter usually sells for around $5 to $20, but high-grade proofs with a strong cameo or deep cameo finish, meaning a deep contrast between the shiny background and frosted design, can bring hundreds or even a few $1,000s. So far, that doesn't sound like millions, right? But we're just getting to the part that started the wild rumors. The 1970 quarter became famous, or rather, infamous, because of one spectacular mint error. It's the 1970 S-proof quarter struck on a 1941 Canadian quarter. Yes, you heard that right. A U.S. quarter was accidentally struck over an old Canadian coin. This bizarre minting error happened when a leftover 1941 Canadian quarter blank somehow made its way into the U.S. Mint's presses in San Francisco. The result was a 1970 S Washington quarter design imprinted over a partially visible 1941 Canadian coin. When this rare coin was discovered, it shocked collectors and made headlines in the numismatic world. It eventually sold for over $35,000 at auction. That's not a rumor, that's real, verified history. This single coin is what likely fueled the million-dollar myth. People saw headlines about a 1970 quarter selling for tens of thousands and assumed that any 1970 quarter might be worth a fortune. From there, the story snowballed. Social media posts started claiming that 1970 quarters could be worth hundreds of thousands or even millions, without mentioning that only the error version was worth serious money. Now, let's talk about other 1970 quarter errors, because they can also be valuable. Some 1970 quarters were struck off-center, meaning the design isn't properly aligned. Others were struck on the wrong metal planchet, or have double strikes or clipped edges. These types of mint errors can sell anywhere from $100 to several $1,000s, depending on how rare and dramatic the error is. As for the regular coins, here's a quick summary of their possible values. 1970, no mint mark, Philadelphia 25 cents to about $1,000, in perfect MS-67 condition. 1970, D, Denver 25 cents to about $4,000, for ultra-rare MS-68 examples. 1970, S-proof, $5 to around $2,000 for top deep cameo grades. 1970, S-error struck on Canadian coin, around $35,000, possibly more if resold today. Now that we've covered all that, it's time to address the big question everyone wants to know. Could a 1970 Washington quarter really be worth millions? The honest answer is no. There's no verified case of any 1970 Washington quarter ever selling for millions of dollars. Even the rarest and most valuable examples, like the Canadian overstrike, have topped out in the tens of thousands, not millions. The million-dollar claims are internet myths, exaggerated by viral videos and clickbait articles. But here's what's true. The 1970 quarter is still a fascinating coin. It captures a moment in U.S. minting history when technology, precision, and occasional human error combine to create some truly unique collectibles. It's a coin that reminds us why numismatics, coin collecting, is so thrilling. Because even though you might not strike it rich, every coin you hold has a story, a mystery, and a connection to history. So, next time you come across a 1970 Washington quarter, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look. Check the mint mark, examine the details, and if you notice anything unusual, like off-center designs, missing letters, or strange metal tones, it could be worth far more than you think. You might not find a million-dollar treasure, but you could discover a valuable piece of American history right in your hands. Because at the end of the day, the real value of the 1970 Washington quarter isn't just in dollars, it's in the story it carries, and the excitement it brings to everyone who searches for hidden treasures. The story of the 1970 Washington quarter proves something truly remarkable, that even the most ordinary, everyday objects can hold hidden wonders beyond imagination. A simple coin, one that most people would overlook or spend without a second thought, has become a symbol of curiosity and excitement in the world of coin collecting. It reminds us that history isn't always found in museums or locked behind glass cases. Sometimes, it's sitting quietly in the palm of your hand, carrying stories of decades gone by, waiting for someone observant enough to notice. Think about how many 1970 quarters were made, millions upon millions of them, all released into the world, exchanged countless times through gas stations, diners, and grocery stores. Each one has traveled its own path, touched by different people, seen different cities, and survived through changing times. And yet, within that massive ocean of ordinary coins, a few rare pieces have managed to capture global attention. That's the magic of numismatics, turning something so common into something extraordinary, transforming a simple quarter into a piece of living history that connects generations. Collectors everywhere still chase the thrill of discovery. Whether they're seasoned experts with decades of experience or beginners sorting through pocket change, every search begins with hope, the hope of finding that one elusive treasure that makes the heart race. The 1970 Washington quarter, especially with its legendary minting errors, continues to fuel that excitement. And who knows? Maybe somewhere out there, hidden in a forgotten coin jar or an old roll from the bank, another rare piece is waiting to be found, a new story ready to take the coin world by storm. So, the next time you come across a coin from 1970, take a moment before you spend it. Hold it under the light, tilt it slowly, and examine every detail, the shine, the edges, the mint mark, and even the faintest imperfections. What you're holding isn't just metal. It's a snapshot of history, a product of craftsmanship, and perhaps even a small piece of mystery. Every coin has its own journey, and only those who truly look closely will ever uncover the secrets it hides. That's the beauty of coin collecting, the mix of patience, curiosity, and wonder that turns every find into an adventure. It's easy to get caught up in the headlines about million-dollar coins and rare treasures, but the real joy lies in the discovery itself. The 1970 Washington quarter might never make you a millionaire, but it can give you something even more valuable, a deeper appreciation for history, art, and the incredible process that turns plain metal into a lasting tribute. Each scratch, each detail, and each variation tells part of America's story. These coins remind us that value isn't just measured in dollars, it's measured in meaning, memory, and the connection we feel to the past. Whether it's a proof coin shining with flawless mirror-like brilliance, a circulated quarter that has seen the hands of thousands, or a rare mint error that stands as a true collector's gem, every single piece carries a narrative. Together, they weave a tapestry of time, telling us how the world has changed, how craftsmanship has evolved, and how a small piece of metal can carry enormous significance. That's why so many collectors fall in love with this hobby, because each discovery, no matter how small, feels like unearthing a hidden chapter of history itself. So keep your eyes open, your curiosity alive, and your imagination ready. There are still treasures out there, waiting quietly in drawers, jars, and coin rolls. The next time you hold a quarter, don't just see a coin, see a story, a legacy, a tiny artifact of American pride. Because sometimes, the smallest and most unassuming coins end up carrying the biggest stories of all. And who knows? Maybe your next find won't just surprise you, it might inspire you to look closer at the world around you, where history often hides in plain sight.